Okay. Well, hi, Laurie. Thank you so much for taking the time out and talking about the wonderful world of court reporting with me on Court Reporting Week. So I just wanted to start out by just saying, hey, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, let's see. I've been reporting for almost three whole decades now. I can't believe it. And I went to school in Van Nuys, California at a brick and mortar school, which I don't even know if they have any left like that. So I feel very fortunate that I had that experience and got to know a lot of different people and it was like it was like going to a real college, in a way. Um, and I started working in Los Angeles. I got my CSR in credential in California in 93, I believe, the same time I got my RPR and my Washington State licenses. And then I worked for 6 months in California, and then I came to Hawaii and started working here and got my CSR out here.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, I know you were talking about school and everything, but why did you choose court reporting as a career? Like, why did you choose court reporting and go to school?
Well, I guess when I was in school, I was really good at typing, and I loved playing the piano, and I always thought, gosh, if there was something I could do with my hands like that, and I never even knew about court reporting before. And then I was dating a guy whose dad was a Superior Court judge in San Fernando, and Bruce Satilli. And he told me to come down and talk to his court reporter. He thought I'd be good at it. And I went down and talked to her, and she, told me how stressful it is sometimes, and but how much she enjoyed working with Judge Satilli because, she had a good rapport with him. And it's great when you get clients or, judges or, that you have a good rapport with. But I asked her how much money I could make, and she told me. I was like, and at that time I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that, and so I just
Right.
researched it and looked up schools and chose Merritt College and went to school.
Yeah,
And then,
that's where I met you.
yeah, yeah, we're buddies.
Um, well, I know you've been reporting for a minute or two. Um, but can you share any memorable experience you had and or even a challenging one and how you overcame it?
Um, well, I mean, there's just so many challenging moments in court reporting because, every day, it's a different thing. You never know what you're going to hear. It could be a challenging content, might be an emotional situation, uh, or it might be something ridiculous, like attorneys just acting like children. And, you just have to keep your composure, and learning how to keep your composure and not being distracted is something that you have to practice. And I remember being in school how the readers, we were fortunate, we had actual live readers that would come to school. They're out of work actors or people who did this just to make a little extra money, and they would read to us, and every now and then they would throw in something just completely uh, very, what's the word? Just graphic, you were not expecting it. It was just like a
Right.
regular like PI or, personal injury
Mm-hmm.
thing. And all of a sudden they throw in something really disgusting. And your instinct is to stop because you're not
It's
expecting that.
shocking, yeah.
Yeah. And so, getting used to that sort of thing, and it's something that takes some practice. But yeah, I think
Well,
that part in the beginning.
along that vein, do you have any funny stories or experiences that you've had over the years of court reporting?
Well, I mean, without getting too detailed, I mean, I do remember one that was just a very sexual in nature, and them going into details about, all of the different apparatuses involved, and them asking me to read back, keeping a straight face through the whole thing. And I found what worked for me because, when it's kind of crazy that when you do this job, you can think about something else while you're writing. And so, you could think about your laundry list of things to do. But when things get really like stressful, I'll just start saying the alphabet in my head, and I don't know why that works for me, but it just does. And it's able to kind of distract me from the content of what's being said. So that was my little trick. I think everybody kind of figures it out for themselves, but
Is that a trick you also used in school?
no,
Like,
actually.
no? Oh,
I don't know. Actually, I guess I didn't think about that, but maybe I did. I can't remember, honestly, because it's not something that in school you could laugh out loud. I think,
yeah.
but when you're in
Might
a room
annoy another
trying to be
student if you're brick
professional,
and mortar, but
yeah, but yeah, when you're in a room with a bunch of stodgy attorneys, you kind of want to keep your professional stance. So I think I was a little more you know careful of that situation. But yeah.
well, so what advice would you give to somebody who's considering a career in court reporting? Is kind of looking around, trying to see what kind of career they're want to get into. What
Well,
advice would you give someone?
I think that you have to have a certain personality for this job. You have to have a deep, be detail oriented. You have to care about the finished product. Um, it's not for somebody who maybe has more of a artsy kind of outlook on things. And I think I don't know whether they say left brain, right brain, I forget which side it is, but you, you know, it's it can be a challenging thing, and it has to be somebody who sees it as a challenge and who likes challenges. You know, who can handle stressful situations and learn to overcome them.
And
So,
still be a professional.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely want to, because tempers can flare sometimes in a deposition, and you're the officer of the court. You kind of have to
Right,
keep that decorum. And
right. That's a good point.
yeah, plus I think what's important too is that you know you want to care about that record that you're keeping. You want to make sure that you're giving an accurate record, and that the finished product is exactly what happened as close to possible. And you're dealing with people's lives here, and you have to keep that
Exactly. This is it's their cases, and it literally could be life and death.
right. And it could be, someone someday who's in that seat, and you want to make sure that, that court reporter or person responsible for the record is giving a good finished product.
Right, right. Well, so for students, I know there's probably students that are watching this, and if they're if they're stuck at a certain speed, or they're struggling to pass uh to the next speed level, what advice would you give to those students?
I remember the first few speed groups I just breezed through, and then I hit 140 and I was stuck. And I just had that expectation that I was gonna breeze through all of them. And it made me realize that, okay, I've reached a plateau. I'm going to have to deal with this. And I kept pushing, pushing, pushing. And eventually I did get through it. But I think what helps sometimes is to not try so hard, like to give yourself a break, go get a massage or take a couple days away from your machine. Don't even look at it, because if you try to keep pushing, pushing, I think you just create more frustration. And I'm not saying give up, of course, but I'm just saying just
Right.
give yourself that little break. Because I do find that I write better sometimes when I'm away from my machine for a few days.
Yeah, it just sort of gives you that rest period.
Yeah, do something that's
Yeah.
calming to your mind,
Yeah.
go for a walk in the forest or, or a walk on the beach or wherever,
Yes.
something, get out in nature, just get away from it.
Okay. I think that's really good advice.
Thanks.
Um, you know, I know like in school, this could be in school or just even during your career, but did you ever have a teacher or a mentor that made an impact on your success in school or your success now as a court reporter?
I think I was really lucky. In school, I don't remember having any specific teacher that, um, you know, was like a mentor to me. But when I got out, I worked for a woman who owned her own agency in downtown LA, Barbary Denham Gillum, I think it was. But yeah, she was a strong woman and she was fair and she just made me feel so comfortable. And she never seemed to be judgy, like, okay, she knew that I'm new, I'm learning this, and
Mm.
so helpful. She had me sit in with other reporters just to kind of, you know, get my feet wet. Um,
See what
and
they do, how they
yeah,
handle situations.
yeah, and I mean, I've just been really fortunate to work for two really strong women, and then I came out here and I worked for Judy Powers, and who's I think closed her office now, but yeah, she told me something that I was just really upset. One day I was just really stressed out, and I didn't know that I could say no to like to work. I just kept saying yes to the point where I pushed myself too hard, and I was in tears. And she's like, she didn't coddle me. She's like, Lori, this job requires tough skin. You have to have thick skin for this job. And you know, she didn't, and I appreciate that because a lot of times we want to be coddled and everything, but I think what that did was really kind of make me buck up and just be accountable for my part in getting stressed out. That I should be willing to say no, be more prepared, be
Right,
for
that you can actually have a little bit of control
Mhm.
over that stress
Right, yeah.
and how you deal with it and that type of thing. That's really great. Yeah, because some people don't have mentors or really good teachers, but I'm finding that in our profession, there's, an abundance of that. People are willing to help each other out.
Yeah, I am finding that, that's one thing is that the court reporting community is we all kind of stick together, because nobody else understands what we do. And so
Right.
together, it almost feels like therapy, because we all get to like vent a little bit and talk about things and hear everybody's stories and kind of like what you're doing right now, but,
Yeah,
casual environment.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we've been talking about all these different aspects of court reporting, but tell me, why do you love court reporting?
Well, I love the freedom of it, that I can take my machine anywhere with me, and I could take a job, on the fly. And, it's just the freedom of, I think that was the biggest thing, was that, oh, I can do it anywhere. You don't
Right.
have to be, you're not tied down. It's been this way for us for quite a while, but since COVID, I think it's become more so that people expect you to kind of be, available wherever you are. And so,
Right.
um, yeah, I think that is the biggest thing for me, is just the freedom. And also, I think learning about so many different subjects. I mean, we get to go to, you know, uh, like the Marine base, or, Hickam over here, and we hear all
Mhm.
like super kind of secretive stuff that, I can't talk about, but
Right,
it's,
right, right.
wow, you kind of feel in the mix of it, but, and you kind of know what's going on. And I think that, is exciting
Yeah.
to hear about all that stuff.
Anything from like aviation to a
Oh,
slip and fall
yeah.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, espionage even, it's like,
Yeah,
wow,
right.
you
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true. And it's very flexible, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can choose. I feel like you can choose, you know, if you like the predictability, you can work in court. You
Yeah,
know.
you can choose, if you like the simple work, you could choose to do workers' comp, you could do, that kind of stuff.
Right.
No, it's okay, the deposition is gonna last probably 2 to 3 hours. They're asking the same, I've done so many workers' comp in my life, I think I could easily take somebody's workers' comp deposition, because I know all the questions.
Right, right.
Um, or throw yourself into something a lot more complicated, that's technical.
Hmm.
So it just depends on,
Right.
how much work you want and how much money you want to make.
Right. Because the heavier it is, the heavier your pocketbook is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Well, before I wrap up, I have one more bonus question that I wanted to ask you. So, da-da-da. What would you love or want or wish for an attorney to do or not do?
I'd say follow his own admonitions. How many times do they say, and don't talk over each other, because a court reporter can only take one person at a time, and then they talk over each other. Oh, yeah, no. I think that would be the biggest one. And also just remembering that we need a break. But I think out here in Hawaii, that is something I noticed a big difference from working in California, is the attorneys are really good about taking a break, like every hour, hour and a half. I would go on depositions in California, and they'd go like 4 hours without a
Right.
bathroom. But I've gotten better about asking for that stuff too. When I was younger, I was afraid to speak up, but I'm good
Yeah,
about,
and
yeah.
the break doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It can be 10, because
Mhm.
in 5 minutes, sometimes it's not enough time.
No, no, not. And also we need a lunch break too. So,
Yes.
so if you're gonna work through lunch, remember, we might have a noisy tummy, that makes some growling noises if, you guys don't stop, so.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for, spending some time with me today and sharing about the wonderful world of court reporting. And if there's anything you wanted to add, um,
Well,
go ahead.
just, I don't know, I just really, really think what we do is so important when you look at what's going on in the world and how crazy things are getting, that, I would like to think that our record of what we say, is going to be preserved. And we need humans for that. AI isn't going to cut it. So that's about it.
Right. Or keep track of the exhibits,
Uh,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
AI can assist, but ultimately.
I mean, anyone who's ever used Siri Well, no, it's not perfect.
Yeah, Siri doesn't like my mom because she has an accent.
Yeah, yeah, Siri messes up all the names out here of our street names, Kalani
Oh,
Iolia.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they can't say pretty
Right,
much any of the Hawaiian words, right?
right, right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Laurie. I appreciate you spending time with me today and talking about court reporting.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.